All right. Good morning, everyone. Good evening if you're joining from Asia. We are having some trouble, little bit some technical issues, but as the people are joining in, let's get started. Um, we'll play a quick 3 minute question answer session. So 3 minute lightning round. If you're seeing my screen, thumbs up. I'm hoping that all of you can see my screen. All right. Sorry, I just realized I was not on the camera. I am back on my camera. Okay. So we'll take a 3 minute lightning round. If you see the first question, go ahead and start posting onto the chat. We are looking to see where are you joining in from today. Okay. Little Rock, St. Louis, Burbank, California. Little early. Soma and downtown. Little Rock. Woodland, Texas. Rogers. Northwest Arkansas. Good. I think we have more people. All right. Are you guys ready for the next question? Okay, here you go. What's fueling you this morning? Is it your coffee, tea, or willpower? In my case, it is willpower today. I was a little behind on schedule, so I could not get my coffee. Deepali, would you like to share what kind of tea you're drinking?
It's Indian tea.
Chai. I love it, Ayush. Okay, let's see. Are we ready for the next question? And the last one. In one word, what is the number one goal for the second half of the year? We are already in the H2 for 2026. So let's see what's your goal for the second half. All right, perfect, perfect. Guys, welcome. My name is Jayesh Ramnani. I'm the Executive Director for Arkansas Asia Business Council. If you're joining for the first time, AABC has a goal to join Arkansas and Asia in economics and in culture. This is our quarterly event. We call it Arkansas Asia Briefing, where we meet and talk about the latest trends and topics that we think are will help the members of our community. Today we have a very good topics to cover, so we'll go right into that. But while we are doing that, if you are just joining in, please go ahead, introduce yourself on the chat as well if as needed, so people know who is joining in from where and what's exactly happening with them today. Okay, let's get going. Today we have a full house. Uh, Let me introduce our first speaker. I'm very excited about all the speakers today. Our first speaker today is someone whose story I think every entrepreneur in Arkansas need to hear. April Roy is the founder and CEO of the Fempac INC, a women's health and period, equity company based in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Uh, Fempac's 3-in-1 teen period kit is currently sold in nearly 500 stores nationwide, following a Walmart open call golden ticket win. April brings over 12 years of product development experience, including prior roles at ABI and Dillard's, and is also building a Fempac Health and AI powered women's health platform. Please help me welcome April Roy. April, I'll go ahead and let you share the screen.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Okay, I am going to share my screen. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen. Okay, can you see my screen okay? Let me know if you're able to see it.
We are seeing an audience window. Is it the right one?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
See it now? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is April Roy. I am the founder and CEO of Fempac, where we take the oops out of unexpected periods by providing accessible period care at your fingertips. You can currently find our products in over 1,100 retail locations throughout the US and Canada. Our mission is to improve women's health through products, policy, education, and community. And I'm excited to share my journey to the golden ticket with you all this morning. So, the problem, we understood that there were many girls who experienced unexpected periods when they would be at school. 1 in 4 girls get their period unexpectedly. 1 in 4 girls miss school due to not having access to period products. And even in Arkansas, period poverty is prevalent. One of the things that we fought with, we partnered with Arkansas Period Poverty Project and partnered with Representative Denise Enid on creating a bill, which is now Act 933, back in 2022 to pass a bill where schools had to provide period products for students at no cost. And that was one of the big major wins for us. We're still fighting to end the tampon tax in this state. And so if you see a petition going around, make sure you sign it. Now, our 3-in-1 teen period kit is what's currently in Walmart right now. It comes with one tampon, one pad, and one wipe. We really wanted this to be targeted towards teen girls. And on this kit, we have a QR code. That QR code leads to an interactive education app, which is the Period Twins. And it teaches the girls how to use their products that's in this kit and to show them how to use it well. If they have any questions, they can also ask. Now, the golden ticket journey was not easy. I will say so. I was invited to open call in 2022. We did not get the golden ticket then, but I also was not ready. So I'm glad we didn't get it, knowing what I know now, being a part of the Walmart Walmart atmosphere. And so, with Open Call, it's every year they have this entrepreneur gathering where you get to pitch buyers for 30 minutes. You have to apply. You can go on rangeme.com or you can just Google Walmart Open Call. It's actually open right now. So if anyone is interested in applying, I think it closes August 3rd or 4th. So get those applications in. But it's a really great opportunity, not because you get a chance to pitch Walmart and possibly get your product on shelves, but you get to meet so many amazing entrepreneurs in the process. It's just really great to connect with other people who are also in the space of producing products. And so you get to learn their processes, or if you have questions about manufacturing or anything in that scope, it's always great that you have someone else to go to in that space. So I always enjoy open call. And so we were invited in October of last year. We were the only period company that was chosen. And so, yay for us. But this is for Walmart's dedication when it comes to, its commitment in manufacturing here in the U.S. Now, the thing that people don't tell you about Walmart, what is once you get in there, oh man, like it's a whole beast of its own. You got to make sure you have your GS1 barcodes. That's the easy part, right? Like that's easy. But it's the compliance of Walmart's whole sphere that will have you cry at least once a week because it's so complicated and there's nothing you can do but just roll with it. Because they have their own way of doing things. You have to comply with how they do things, whether it's packaging and making sure the label on the packaging is proper because you don't want it to get rejected or end up having to pay fees because it didn't go through Walmart's warehouse process properly. And so you want to be mindful of those things. So I will always say Walmart has this thing called Supplier Academy. I found out from one of the Walmart people that I was actually one of the top users of Supplier Academy. And I was like, oh, yes, like it's an open tab on my computer because it's always something. So it's a great resource when it comes to that. Also, Walmart's purchase orders. When we think about purchase orders, some people get them monthly, quarterly, once a year. No, Walmart once a week, Monday, and you have to confirm those orders. So again, their process, you have to confirm them. You have to do the routing information. Like there's a process to everything. And so learning those, I feel like Walmart gives you enough time to learn those, but it's a lot in a little bit of time to learn. And so you just got to be willing to do it, to do the work. And then another thing to think about is sell through, because in order to stay on the shelves, your product has to be selling. And so when you're a product that people may not know, like you have to make sure your marketing is right. You got to make sure when you go into Walmart that you have a marketing plan, that you let them know what that is, because they understand you're a small business. They understand that maybe you only have a couple of products. And so they're willing to help where they can. And so I appreciate that. But the logistics of Walmart is so real. And I'm not just talking about like getting your product to the warehouse. I'm talking about onboarding is a whole beast of its own, making sure you got every application checked. Also, when you do your EDI and making sure, are you going to use Walmart system or are you going to use an outside system? And Walmart system is great, but there are things that come along with it that maybe you won't get and using an outside EDI because when it comes to transportation, like it's pretty much in the system. With Walmart, like it's two different systems. So like you have to be mindful about those things. But again, it's an amazing opportunity for us. And so that's why I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. And so where we are now and what's next? Well, like I said, we are on 1,100 retail stores throughout the US and Canada. Our 3-in-1 teen period kit since landing on shelves in May has been doing really well with zero marketing spend. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like once we turn on that marketing bucket. We have built our AI app, Fempac Health. We it took us about 90 days to build it. Now we're working on the front end, so we're super excited for that. Our goal is to be with women from first period to last hot flash. So we're super excited about that. Again, this retail opportunity is basically an introduction into our goal and our mission to improve women's health. And so we see our kit as a signal for that every time one is on the shelves or is being bought and off the shelves, is just connect us to one more customer. And the end. I'll stop sharing my skin.
Awesome, guys. Do we have any question for April? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions you might have.
April, that is an impressive story. I appreciate you sharing it. Just from a curious, your company, do you actually manufacture the product? Is that your unique pads, all of that, or do you purchase from others? I'm thinking your backward supply chain is what I was wondering. How hard
Well,
is that? Yeah.
Well, we have a manufacturer that manufactures our products, so we have our own products. But sometimes it's hard that maybe our manufacturer can't deliver on time. Like for us, that happened with us having to deliver on time for Walmart. I got an email from my manufacturer and said, "Hey, you're not going to have your order on time." And
Mhm.
luckily for me, because I'm always planning for the worst. I already had my other vendors on speed dial who are also in the manufacturing space who can send me white label products. And so it kind of just worked out for us. Like my wipe company still like they made our wipes for us. Our my manufacturer sent me the tampons because again they can manufacture our entire kit, but they had to send me tampons separately in order for us to deliver on time. And then we also have a company that we work with for sustainable period pads that are biodegradable. So we have two lines of supply chain, if that makes sense.
No, it does a lot. Where do you final package? Where do you package it?
So we do it here, well, in Bentonville. Yeah,
Okay.
we work with warehouse called Team One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
April, that's a great story. How did you manage to successfully get sales traction with no advertising?
Well, because it's a kit that people need. Want. Okay, so you also too, we're the only period kit on shelves outside of a tween period kit, but it's more expensive. It's an actual like purse. Our product is on the go, disposable, biodegradable, and it's also affordable. We wanted to be mindful about okay, if a girl was with her friends and all she had was a couple of dollars, could she afford our kit if she got her period? And the answer was yes. Our kit, we retail it for less than $2. So again, it was really about access for us. And so I think because it's something that's needed, people see it, the product, it says exactly what it is, and they buy it. Now, I will say, I'm sure people have, in the early days, I did a lot of like pitch competitions and all the things. But in the past few years, I've had my head down, like really focused on how do we get into retail? How do we make sure our product, even if people never heard of us, if they saw it, they would buy it. And so that was the goal for us. And I think it's kind of worked out. We moved 13,000 units of our flagship product in 6 months. So um, yeah, I think we doing pretty good in that realm.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
April, do you see your employee count grow now that you are in so many stores?
No. No, unfortunately, I still don't pay myself. Because again, it's a unique we haven't accepted any outside money. We haven't raised a ton of money, so it's been bootstrapped. And so again, we've been mindful of like what that looks like. What do we take on? And so me saying yes to Walmart, I saw it as an opportunity to grow the business and to be able to take on other retailers. And also if we needed to get working capital, people would say yes to Walmart versus anyone else. And so that was the big reason why I said yes. Now, I will say this. I do have a team, a sales team that I work with, and team one as our warehouse. So I feel like we have a ton of contractors that I've been able to work with. A lot of our contractors, a lot of our vendors, our manufacturers has been with us from the beginning. So they've seen the trajectory of like the work that we've done. So I think a lot of it has to do with them seeing this and wanting to also help. And so I feel like I've picked really great people to help me along the way.
April, hey, I'll just go ahead and ask one more question to you. I have a quick question. So, if you have to give one secret sauce to win the golden ticket, what would that be?
Be prepared. Know your product. Also, one of the biggest things I like to do is make the retailer feel like they're involved in the impact that we're doing as a company. So it's not like they're just selling a product. They're also helping to end period poverty, So find a mission that attaches to the retailer and it can go a long way because they also want to see like how they can help, right? It's not just about this product, but what's the overall goal and the big mission.
Very well. Ayush?
Hey, April.
Hey,
Awesome.
friend.
Hey, awesome, man. This was cool. It's been awesome following your journey over the years and just seeing all these successes and having heard all the pains that you have been through.
Yeah, you have.
So, well, fun times. But what I wanted to kind of talk about a bit is the future outlook that you see. So I'm trying to see, how our organization AABC, we are connected. We are, trying to build more connections between the whole Asia subcontinent and Arkansas, and knowing, the the issues I would say around the period in I know in India there are in rural areas it's a big thing, and I'm pretty sure other countries in Asia also suffer from that. Do you see yourself again? It's all a function of money. I get all that part, of course. If there was infinite money, there's a lot of stuff to be done. But do you see yourself some passion project, some direction that you see taking forward for Fempac and yourself and your daughters, and I met that they're just amazing by themselves. Do you see yourself progressing towards that? Are you taking up initiatives? Is there something that our organization can do? Can help build bridges? We recently spoke to a bunch of consulates, and they are interested in trying to figure out companies in Arkansas and see how there could be commerce there. So yeah, just would like to see leave this kind of
Yeah,
open.
no, that's a really great question. As someone who exports products, yes, yes. Like I need the connection. I need this. I think I was telling Jayesh, like, I need to talk to y'all about exporting then and like what we could do. But also too, like my goal, like someone from Albania, a distributor hit me up and was like, hey, can we distribute your products here? And so, like, the goal is to make it international. Now that we're in Canada, we're in over 680 7-Elevens there. The goal is to further the mission outside of the US because period poverty is everywhere. And with our Fempac Health app, the whole goal is for those who don't have access to healthcare. And so being that tool for them to help make that conscious decision if they need to go to the doctor or not. I feel like it ties to not only what we're doing here in Arkansas, in rural Arkansas, in solving these lack of equity issues. I feel like it is a model here for us, and we can expand that throughout the US and throughout the world. Because again, Period poverty is everywhere. The lack of access to healthcare is everywhere, but everyone has a phone. So if we can meet people where they are, then that's where we plan on doing it. And if that's in Asia, then let's go. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, all successes to you. And again, thanks again for this amazing presentation and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Um, Guys, if you still have a question, April is going to stay for a few more minutes. Please feel free to put questions on the chat so she can answer your questions. Congrats, April, on all the progress you have achieved, and good luck. We know you will continue to grow, and all our wishes are with you, and support is also there with you.
Thank
Um,
you.
our second speaker today has a background that honestly stopped me when I first read it. Dr. Kaicong Wu holds a PhD in architecture from Princeton University, a Master of Architecture from University of Pennsylvania. Before joining us in Arkansas, he was assistant professor at the University of Hong Kong and a visiting fellow at Princeton. He's now a tenure track assistant professor at the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design here at the University of Arkansas, and an innovation scholar with the Arkansas Research Alliance. His work sits at the intersection of architecture, artificial intelligence, computational design, and it's been presented at international venues across the world. We genuinely are lucky to have someone of his caliber right here in Fayetteville, and even luckier to have him sharing his work with us today. Today, he's joining us from Hong Kong as he was on his family trip. I would like to welcome Dr. Kaisong Wu. Dr. Wu, the screen is for you.
Great. Thank you, Jayesh. So, hi everyone. My name is Kaicong. Really appreciate the invitation from AABC. And first of all, also, congratulations, April. That was an amazing story. I learned a lot. Yeah, because I think what I shared with you today, it's also related with manufacturing and also see the societal problems and how we can find solutions. But yeah, so as everyone can see my screen, hopefully now, yeah, okay. Yeah, so, but I was just like mainly talk about, and because we all know nowadays AI and robotics are start to getting around with us, but I'm sure like we all have different opinions of how to see their applications in our life. But because my training, my personal training, it's architecture, so that's why my sort of like a way of working with AI and robotics is through construction, and especially for using advanced manufacturing technologies to think about the timber structures and especially regenerative timber structures. So if later today or in the near future, if anyone sees some of my work who help you, solving certain solutions, feel free to reach out to me. And right now, the easiest way you can find me from the Arkansas Research Alliance website, and that's also a great organization, amazing sort of idea to connecting several universities in Arkansas to bring the research in the lab into the real world applications and to seek job creating opportunities and such. So I'm super grateful to part of the innovation scholarship program, and so that's why I think it was just like a really fantastic to get a chance to being introduced to AABC and share my work. So I personally, as I said, I was trained as an architect, so I designed all kinds of things, some of the skyscrapers, some of even bigger ones. But since I started to work on research, started with my PhD, I work a lot with robotics and AI, and I will share with you, why those things started to got my interest. And then, and also I cross different kinds of other scales, like housing projects, but also furniture projects. So, because I do see that eventually the technologies themselves do need to find meaning, right, to help our lives. And I think in general, I would really share some of my experience in design and making, especially, and then also see how the using emerging computational technologies to make design and making a little different, from what we already know. But I would actually to quickly introduce a bit of things of where I'm currently work at, right? So at the University of Arkansas, I joined last summer, and at Feijing School of Architecture and Design. And so on the left side of the screen, that's the main building of the architecture school. On the right side, that's actually a new in the center opened at the university. So it's called Anthony Timberland Center for Design and Materials Innovation. And as you learn from the name, it's actually a dedicated lab space that we can combine design education together with innovation and technology. So here on the couple of floors, those are studio space, but on the lower level central space, there is a huge manufacturing fabrication prototyping space. And we are also installing new machines at the moment. There are potentially, linear tracks and the robotic arms with heavy loaded, heavy duty machines quickly going to fill out this space. So right now, this picture was taken, a long time ago. Now, if you see the space, it's super well crowded, and hopefully we're gonna use those machines later. But as you see from those photos, you can see the entire building is a mass timber structure. And there's also a trend, probably you can hear about that in the recent years, there's more and more discussion in the construction industry talking about applications of timber. And then why timber? That's kind of like the question people ask all the time, because we know timber, that's like a really old material, right, from for human society. But why latest in recent years people talk more and more timber, and especially mass timber recently, and that's mainly because the construction industry has been for a long time blamed for generating carbon footprint, almost like more than 40% of the total carbon footprint on the planet. And for the entire building and the construction sector, right, we can see that operating the building themselves, we will need actually a lot of carbon footprint generated. But this part of the work, we have used a different mindset to solve that. And my work, especially, is really dedicated to how we solve this from the construction perspective. And especially from the construction side, you can see all the different materials, they generate entirely different carbon footprint. And from here, you can see that the familiar materials like steel, concrete, cement, right, they generate all the time a huge amount of carbon emissions. So that's why I think when we talk about timber, the immediate benefit is the timber products, especially in their production, they will create far more less carbon emissions compared with concrete, cement, steel. And a lot of the reason is just because timber itself, right? It's like a biogenetic storage of carbon, right? So that we can almost like create a negative carbon footprint during the production of buildings using timber structures. And also in Arkansas is really great with forestry resources as well. So it has great coverage of forest area. It also forestry economy occupies almost the second of the entire economy of the state. So that's why from all these kind of like a good advantages part, we do need timber to contribute to construction, to contribute to building environment. But also there's no free lunch. And I will talk about it. There are a couple of problems we have to really think hard in order to solve them. And one of them is timber. Usually we don't consider they are a very long time, multi-life durability use material. Unlike concrete and steel, we can consider they use a really long time. But timber, a lot of time we design and construction for just one time shot. And then the issue is, okay, although timber itself produce a lot less carbon footprint, but if we just use it in a short time, you can see the benefit is going to be compensated and limited by that. So that's why I really want to create a timber structure system that can be reused, that can be reversible, that can be regenerative. So this one solution is from the geometry side. And this example of my work is just showing a furniture design project. And you can see that all the parts that are very weird, right? They're not like entirely standardized furniture parts. They all have these small notches. And because when we design these parts, we intentionally create the overlaps of all the different kinds of furniture pieces. So eventually we can create a pool of modules, and using these modules, we can create almost like all the different kind of assemblies of different furniture pieces from there. They all share exactly the same pool of modules. And then, but the design, I would say the design variations, for sure, they are not infinite, but also still, they can give us a lot of customized designs at the same time. So at the end, all these joineries, they can be fully connected, but also the advantage is they can also be disassembled very easily. So all these parts, if we from the beginning design them like this, they can also assemble furniture, but also disassemble for reuse for new purposes. So in that sense, we can sort of like give materials a second life, a third life, as long as this can be regenerative, like continuous. But also at the same time, I personally, from the previous project, I personally assembled them manually, and I do know, how much labor you will need if you want to assemble furniture for a very large amount of number of furniture. Also, if you think about assemble structures, assemble houses like this, it's going to be a huge amount of labor. And also another difficulty in construction industry, it's we always short of skilled labor, and we always sort of like falling behind our construction schedule. So that's actually needs kind of like a different solution. So that's why I want to talk about the robotic and AI technologies, how they can help us to address some of the issues here. And then so I think that's why from my PhD research, I already start to touch based on a little bit of the robotics. And from there, you can see this kind of my earlier research projects. It would just assemble a bunch of these wood logs using these robotic arms. We will use cameras to record how they assemble these things. And we will train a neural network in order to let the robot to have their own autonomy and to create new structures from there. So that was just like a really superficial, I would say, really, really superficial integration of construction, assembly, and the robotics and AI. But at that time, also the AI we talk about, it's different from the AI we talk about today. That neural network compared with the large language models we have these days are just too tiny, are just too small. So, but now the different things we have more agentic system, right? Agentic robots and with foundation models, use large language models, use the vision language models to trigger the programming of this robot. So that's why they gave us and they gave construction industry an entirely different sort of potential. So this project I'm going to share here, it's a collaboration project. So I have been sort of like working on this even before I joined the university. But it was just collaboration between right now the University of Arkansas and Princeton University. Both have amazing robotic fabrication labs. And the idea is what if we program all these robot arms using not a traditional manual coding process, but using large language models. Because you can, I'm sure everyone have this experience already, right? If you like to write a program for you to run a specific website, you can totally do this. Then to run these robotic systems is equally the same. You just need to pass through the right natural language instructions and then let the entire programs to created by the AI models. So, but of course, in terms of the real construction side, it's much more complicated than just like creating a small program to to maybe run a small 3D model. It's going to be much more complicated than that. We have 3D design model to retrieve information. We have cameras to look at the construction site. We have the real robotic arms to pick up the material, do the assemblies. So that's why we have to prepare AI models, all these different kind of skills. And then also after creating all these skills, we are still not confident to really just allow the AI to control the robotic arms. Because what if AI is doing something wrong? The entire structure can be demolished. The entire construction team can be hurted, right? So that's why we have to create sort of like a buffer, sort of like a safeguard at the same time. So on the left side of my screen, all these images, no matter we look at the material from the top view, no matter we look at the timber framework from the side, those are all simulations. So the amazing thing is nowadays, because of the development of graphic cards, simulations can be so realistic. So all the process, how we construct the things, can all be simulated already, right, in the virtual environment. So the idea is, okay, whatever the AI generated the program, control the robotic arms, assemble the timber structures, we will pass to the simulation before running on the real robot. Once the human operator confirm, okay, this is okay, you can run the real robot, we let it run on the real robot. So I'm going to show a quick demo. As you see, the simulation runs first, and you see on the screen here, all the instructions are very much like a natural language. It's just like a move the arm, pick up the material, something like that. And then without any specific program, right, you don't have to really type like a program like a Python or something. The robot can be triggered by the natural language. So you can just prove, okay, in the simulator, this entire path, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't hit anything, right? The entire construction can be finished through these two paths. Then we fully secure, then we pass this entire two paths to the real robotic arm. And then you see the real robot arm do exactly the same thing, right? Follow the simulator. So using this method, we can solve all the different kinds of construction problems, but also gave a chance that because even with the smartest model today, even from whether it's from OpenAI, from Anthropic, from Google, no matter how intelligent those models are, they still make errors. So using this kind of a human-robot collaboration system, we gave construction team another chance to correct their AI models if they do really something wrong and stupid on construction site, because there's always uncertainties, right, on the logistics on construction site. So that's why we always need a human, right, in that process. So that's why in terms of the robotic construction, they can provide the timber, another different ways of using and reusing. But also lately, I collaborated with other faculty members at the Fempac Architecture School. We also consider using not just only mass timber products, but we also integrate the carbon fiber reinforcements, because the carbon footprint as a whole, right? We just trace carbon. So why not we just directly use carbon? So carbon fiber also, the structural performance-wise, it's just going to be much even stronger than steel, So that's why it can provide us a much flexibility of arranging the house. So I know in Fayetteville, in Northwest Arkansas, we always short of multi-family, condominium houses, right? The sort of really empty zone. And I'm sure, like using this methodology, we can see more and more housing projects emerging from there as well. And but that's just like probably we touch base on some of the current issues of working with timber construction. But also, what I haven't mentioned is no matter how detailed we work with timber, no matter how precise we work with timber, we always create a lot of byproducts. So that's why the final project I want to share with everyone is the latest sort of work I did just after I joined Fempac Architecture School. It was just using additive manufacturing technologies to print wood byproducts directly. So because it's sawdust, right? Because from the natural wood logs, processing them, actually half of those wood will be lost. And then further using the standardized industrial wood byproducts, we created these joineries, another substantive amount of byproduct created. So in the US alone, every single year, there's more than 100 million tons of sawdust wood residues created. So that's why a lot of time you see that people use them directly to landfills, use them to chicken farm beds. But I think that currently we don't see them immediately used for construction. So and again, as I said, no matter how carefully we process timber, we're gonna waste 50% of the timber into sawdust and wood flowers. So that's why in the latest sort of like a studio, more like a research studio, I lead a group of undergrad students actually. We use 3D printing technology and then to connect these sort of like a printing machines, which were dedicated originally for clay printing. But we create our own mixtures and create our own two-pass generating process so that we can control all these kind of different forms of printed products. And then eventually we work on a lot on the mixtures of material. We combine these wood byproducts, these sawdust, with all different kind of binders and eventually make them printable, also make them strong enough once they cure. And so you can see that it's very much like an embodied process. You have to think about the ratios of water, think about the ratios of wood flowers and many of these uncertain factors. And we also went to our engineer faculty's lab and then to let them help us to test out the pressing strengths of all these material so we know how strong they are. Right now, I have to say it's not yet comparable with concrete, but it reached already 1/3 of concrete's strength. So you can imagine if it's a 1 to 2 floor high house using this material, it's entirely doable to print the principal structures using this material. So it's entirely in-house invented material system, and we are testing for all kinds of building modulars. And then you can see the students using these modules to use modular construction technology philosophy as well, because modular construction is also believed to be another way of saving construction industry by creating more savings, right, in terms of the timeline of production, in terms of efficiency of production. But of course, depends on the unit size. There are all different kinds of discussions of whether this is feasible or not. But for small houses, usually I would say the modular construction can be really beneficial to the system. So now you can see the students were using these printed objects as the modules, and to think about how they connected with each other and become a house for a single family house, or maybe kind of like all different kind of affordable housing scenarios as well. And so for this housing project, it was also latestly attracted interest from Walton Family Foundation. So if you get a chance to visit our lab, you will see there is actually a real housing module is currently constructed in the lab. It was using currently traditional timber frameworks, but we were thinking in the very near future, the 3D printed parts can be integrated together with the timber frameworks to become the future of affordable housing projects. But yeah, so as a whole, I would say all these technologies, whether it's AI, robotics, integrated with manufacturing, we can definitely see a very different future, different potential for housing, for construction. But I believe that in the future, all the current things are kind of like a little bit fragmented in different parts. But my sort of aspiration is to connect them into a more integrated system. So that's why if you find any part of my work, it's going to be helpful for your team, for your group, please feel free to reach out to us and see how we can help you to solve construction and housing problems for the future. Okay.
Awesome, Dr. Wu. In the interest of time, we'll take all the questions on the chat. We have to wrap up by 9.
Yes.
But very impressive presentation, Dr. Wu. There are questions already coming on the chat, so we'll like if you can answer those over there. Moving
Sure.
on.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Um, Moving on, thank you, Dr. Wu and April. Genuinely incredible sessions today. Really appreciate both of you giving your time before we. Before we close out, I want to take about 10 minutes to share what's happening at AABC because I think this connects directly to everything you have heard today. Dr. Wu, can I quickly share my screen?
Yes, please. Oh, yeah, I have to stop sharing. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
I hope you all can see my screen. As many of you know, I have completed a year with AABC or about to complete a year in few weeks with AABC. So when I started at AABC, the question I got most often was, what does AABC actually do for the Arkansas business? And I had a vision, but I didn't have a track record yet. Today, I can start answering those questions with something concrete. That number 4 on your screen, in the last year, we sat down with 4 Asian consulates, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, not just as an introductory hello. We went in, presented our framework, explained what AABC stands for, and started building real working relationship with them. Now, why does this matter? Let me explain what a consulate actually represents for a business. A consulate is a direct line to trade offices, to government contracts, to business networks in that country that most Arkansas companies simply don't have access to. So, if you are a supplier looking to source from Asia, if you are a company trying to find talent, if you want to expand internationally, those relationships are gold and they take years to build. We are building them for you. Philippines is the furthest along. We have a partnership framework in place and we are actively working to formalize it. Once that's done, it becomes a template and we replicate it with India, Vietnam, and Indonesia as well. Every consulate we bring in opens another door for every AABC member. I'll be honest, a year ago, AABC didn't have a seat at that table. Today we do. So we are just getting started, but we are very proud of what we are doing and where we are heading towards. Okay. The second thing that I want to bring up, this is personal for me. AABC has mostly lived in Northwest Arkansas. I have known that since day one, and it bothered me because our mission was never just for Bentonville or Fayetteville. It's Arkansas and Asia, the whole state. In November, we are fixing that. We are planning to have a synchronized meetup across every region of Arkansas. Same day, same time, but different cities. The goal is simple. Wherever you are in this state, you can be part of this community. You don't have to drive to Fayetteville. We are coming to you. We have 3 regions organized already: Northwest Arkansas, Central, and South Arkansas. But River Valley and East Arkansas are still open. So if you are in Fort Smith, Russellville, or anywhere in the River Valley, I'm talking to you. If you are in Delta or East Arkansas, I'm also talking to you. Message me after this call and let's make it happen. I'm very much looking forward to this, and I hope that we all can connect and make this event a grand event, and then we can make it a journey to do it every quarter and meet in person every quarter. And then the last thing before I let all of you go, I will be honest with you here. We have been building consulates, meetups, events, partnership, but building in the right direction requires to know what you actually need. And I don't want to assume that I know. So, I would like to request you to take this 3 minute survey in the chat. I know everyone says it only takes few minutes, but this one actually does. And I am asking you to fill it out today, not because it's a formality, but because every single answer we get directly shapes what ABC prioritize in the coming year. So that's my ask. Before you close this window and open this, I would like you to open this link and please fill this up. So I'll pause over here. I would give few minutes to all of you to go ahead and you know fill this survey. And while we are doing that, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Good morning, Jane. Thank you for this. This is Ernie Olson speaking. I'm wondering, is there going to be a member directory produced and shared with the members?
Yes, there is a program that's going to come up in the upcoming year where we will be creating and publishing the member directory. At the moment, we already have a kind of a version onto our website, but we are formalizing to make it in a way that it can be shareable.
Terrific. Thank you.
Good question, Ernie. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Any question for April or Dr. Wu?
I can ask a question if.
Go ahead, Ayush.
So I see you the robotics in construction has been around, not I would say not the LLM version and that kind of piece, the natural language piece, but there has been a lot of robotics deployment there, and there are a lot of legacy devices out there, I would say. So do you see all this new interest, or um, the efforts that are going towards improving these large language models, and all the funding that is being set towards this, ever reaching, trying to bring those
Mhm.
uh, historical, I would say, equipment up to speed, so that whatever millions, billions that have been spent in purchasing, acquiring those, don't become
Yeah,
like
yeah.
way. So how do you see that gap being bridged over time? And also, I have one more question. I'll just ask both so you can answer that. So the whole promise around or maybe it's just a take from you of 3D printing houses, and the efforts that had gone into it. Do you see that becoming a sustainable thing with what you are proposing, with robotics being part of more fundamental construction processes? How does that layer in with that whole concept of 3D printing houses?
Yeah, I mean, thanks. I think for your first question, I would say that's actually a very brilliant point because we have new technology, but then we also have legacy machines. And I think using AI, it's not going to conflict the idea of how we can integrate new machines and legacy machines. I would say because, but without AI, it can be tricky because all the different machines in 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier, they sometimes use also different languages even. So, but with I think that's actually what AI can really help us. If they are all using different codes, as long as they're all machines, they have their own codes, AI can find a way to integrate them. I think that system integration, there are a lot of discussions nowadays. I then think for your second question, I would say I think the way how we see construction, there have been different kind of like pass through different, let's say, plans. Originally, people plan to automate everything, and you will see it's even less sustainable, because I don't know whether it's saving or using more money or using more energy. But now the idea is slowly changed because people see, okay, there are certain parts, certain techniques, certain tasks. We don't have to let the machines to do this. We still have human, right, being part of the team. It's just like for those who are harmful, to our body, they can carry on by machines better. So that's why I emphasize a lot of human-robot collaboration. I think this is actually the future, and it's really just depends on what task we assign which party's advantage. Yeah. So that's why I think. Yeah, I would say definitely just like the same way we treat with legacy machines, we shouldn't consider automation is the goal of automate everything, robotic everything. That's totally disaster gonna be to me. And also, on construction sites, it's just so chaotic. It's just
Yeah.
like so uncertain. So you will be amazed at how human intelligence can tackle all the different sort of like uncertainties, which I don't know if we have the machine. And actually, construction industry does not have that much of data to train those AI models. It's not like we have this daily object pick and place tasks, right? We can train using millions of videos, but construction side we don't have this data. So that's why I think, yeah, in the future, I would say AI models will definitely have a hard time, landing to a localized construction site. But I think once we face that kind of like a challenge, right, but also embrace how human intelligence, legacy machines intelligence together, I think that the construction will be better. Yeah. But I think that, yeah, yes.
And then
Please.
whatever I think your findings would be in this process, I think they will be widely applicable. I have spent some time in the mining space, and I've seen like those legacy machines that do a lot of heavy work,
Yes.
and also keep people safe.
Yes.
They requiring upgrade, and currently there's a human element where people go in and sit in and operate, and then
Yeah.
so that piece, I don't know how that becomes better over time, especially again, I won't rely on the current models to do that, but I'm hoping that there will be better options out there in the future, which would be more reliable in terms of and not run out of context memory that people get trapped inside large minds. So just
Sure, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
thanks.
And I'll say, okay, the 3D printer, by the way, we are using, it's actually a legacy machine. It's actually not a really fancy, 3D printer. But, students have to mix by their hands. But they told me they like to mix it with their hands because they can know whether the material is sticky enough to print. And that knowledge, right, you have to really feel to know that. But of course, it turns out our material kind of like, I like the other question in the chat. It's, yeah, we have to test weather durability. That's going to be another year or 2 year or 5 years project. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks.
Jayesh, if I can make one quick comment and then we'll finish up. I know we're a little over. Your comment about modular looks of pieces and things. I'm involved a lot in, we use the word construction strategy. I would argue that component manufacturing outside of the construction zone and in the construction zone becomes more of an assembly area is one of the key strategies, and back where the manufacturing component is where some of these techniques and things, it can be consolidated. And so you're producing modular units for multiple projects, and then your assembly component is much safer, easier, and those kind of things. So I think that's, even when we use the word construction, we don't need to necessarily think it's all done at one location. It's the modular component and then the capability to put it together when you put it there.
Exactly.
So great comments on your way you're looking at that. So
great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I do see that manufacturing can give us a different way of looking at construction. Yeah, and these prefabricated parts, right? How amazing they can help us. Only thing it's they cannot be too big, otherwise the
Right,
transportation can kill the project.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Now we build big things though for offshore and some other things. So size is relative, but
Is
you're exact.
really, yes.
Yeah, you're right. Jayesh, I'm sorry. I think we're a little over.
No,
So,
that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah. Jayesh, you're muted.
You're muted. Yeah.
So sorry about that. Okay, I just want to quickly summarize. Thank you so much, Dr. Wu and April, for being with us today. I would like to wrap up with this understanding that I got from April that stuck with me, that to get to the actually 1,000+ stores wasn't just about the product. It was about the relationship, the persistence, and knowing which store to knock to, right? And that's what AABC is trying to be for this community, the organization that knows which door to knock on and knocks on them for you as well. So thank you all for being here in this morning. Thank you, April. Thank you, Dr. Wu, for an incredible session. We'll see you all next time, which is happening in October. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jay, and everyone. Have a good day.